Creating custom Pokemon for you! Welcome back, everyone, to the show where we select lucky commenters to spin a series of random wheels that give us factors for a Pokemon that we then create just for you. It's gonna be an awesome episode today, y'all. We're gonna make 3 amazing custom Pokemon as always, so if you end up liking today's video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. But most importantly, if you want a custom Pokemon for yourself, don't forget to leave a comment because I'll be randomly selecting people from this video's comments for the next episode. And also make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell turned on, because if you get a custom Pokemon but never see the episode, that would absolutely suck. Don't let it happen to you. And without further ado, let's get into the first Pokemon. And this one will be for Phantom Cyborg, who watched the entire series with their brother. That's awesome. So alright, Phantom, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be regular. There's nothing wrong with that. Now let's see how many times your Pokemon can evolve, and you're going to get 0, which actually makes you a basic Pokemon. Now let's see what typing your Pokemon's going to be. Your first type is going to be None, which means whatever the next type is, it's your only type, and it's Ghost type. And the last step, before we see what your Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and you do a signature ability. Those are always a ton of fun. Get ready to meet a Pokemon who's the true star of the show. Your Pokemon is Reon, the projector Pokemon. These mischievous ghost types have the strange ability to project ultra-realistic images from their eyes. And they use this ability to ward off larger threats by projecting the image of an even more intimidating creature and scaring them away. And these cinematic capabilities are reflected in its signature ability, Projector Eyes. This ability is similar to Zoroark's illusion ability, however, instead of itself appearing as a different Pokemon, it will instead project an illusion onto its teammate, transforming their appearance into the last member of your party until Reon takes damage, at which point they'd be revealed. In terms of stats, Reon is designed to be a support Pokemon, so it has pretty good defenses as well as really good speed, but its offenses leave a lot to be desired. And for the shiny, we made it very colorful as a reference to like black and white television converting to color, because this Pokemon obviously has an old movie and TV theme. I love this Pokemon. Its signature ability is so fun, and I would love to see it in super high level Pokemon battles, because like the game of predictions would be so cool to see. And in our fan-made game, I feel like the ghost type gym leader just has to have one of these because it would make the battle so much more fun. Let me know in the comments what you think about this Pokemon's signature ability, but now let's get into the second Pokemon. But before we get into that, did you know that public Wi-Fi can be a hacker's paradise? That's right, oftentimes hackers will set up an evil twin Wi-Fi network which masquerades as a business's free public Wi-Fi in order to harvest the sensitive information of the people who unknowingly connect to it. So imagine sipping coffee at your favorite cafe, all the while someone nearby is stealing your private information. Well, that's where today's video partner, NordVPN, comes in. Right now, Nord has an amazing offer for my audience where every purchase of a 2-year plan will include a bonus 4 months on top. And you can access this deal by using the link in my description or the pinned comment. NordVPN encrypts your online traffic at all times, keeping unwanted eyes off of your sensitive data. But that's far from the only thing that Nord can do for you. One of my favorite features they have is their dark web monitoring feature. Because of Nord, if any of my passwords or other information are compromised, stolen, and put onto the dark web, then I'll get an alert that that happened so I can take action before it's too late, which gives me a lot of peace of mind. And Nord is giving the best deal to my audience where you get a bonus 4 months when you purchase a 2-year plan using the link in my description or pinned comment. And the best part is Nord has a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning if you don't like the product, you can get your money back within 30 days of purchase. So with Nord, there's no risk, just protection. So if you're interested at all, again, make sure to use the link in my description or pinned comment to check out that sweet deal. Huge thank you to Nord for partnering with me for today's episode, but now let's get right back into it. And today's second Pokemon will be for Lena Forest, who says they can't wait to see what the first Ultra Beast looks like, and I agree, that's gonna be high. So alright, Lena, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be a Convergent Evolution. Not quite an Ultra Beast, but that's still super cool. And it means that now we have to spin this wheel to see what generation of Pokemon will be making a Convergent for, and it's Gen 5, my favorite generation. Awesome. So now we'll spin this wheel that has every single Gen 5 Pokemon on it, and we got Scimalier. That is one of the cool coolest Pokemon from Gen 5. I actually think this Pokemon is super underrated, so now I'm extremely excited for this one. Now let's see what new typing we'll be giving to this Convergent Escavalier. Your first type is going to be the Psychic type. That is very different from the original Escavalier for sure. And Psychic Ghost type, back-to-back Ghost types, and that is very weird typing for a Convergent Escavalier. I have no idea how this is gonna work. And the last step before we see which Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and none this time. Get ready to meet a Pokemon or two with an incredible backstory. The first stage of your Pokemon is Shamp, the Wish Pokemon. These Pokemon produce a mystical mist from their nose. And it used to be believed that this mist granted wishes, but it turns out the mist actually possesses psychedelic properties. And the myth most likely originates from people hallucinating their wishes becoming true. And thankfully for humanity, these Pokemon can only be found in the deepest parts of ancient chambers where they're actually preyed upon by Carabash. This convergent evolution of Carablast is very quick but very frail, which leads it to try to steal the protective armor that Shamp wears. And this antagonist relationship is actually key to these two Pokemon evolving, because when these two Pokemon are traded for one another, Carabash evolves into Scimalier. Now having stolen Shamp's golden armor, this Pokemon is now a bladed offensive threat that can slice and dice its way through entire armies of Pokemon. But Carabash isn't the only Pokemon to evolve, because upon losing its armor, Shamp would evolve into Acceljinn. As it turns out, this Pokemon's armor was less protective and more restricted, because now freed from its prison, this Pokemon's power is now tenfold. With psychic energy so great, it's even able to manipulate reality around it. In terms of stats, Scimalier has a ton of physical attack as well as solid defenses, but just like regular Escavalier, it's very slow. And for Acceljinn stats, this thing is an absolute offensive menace with super high speed and super crazy special attack. However, its defenses are terrible. And for the shinies, I made Scimalier's armor look like it was made of silver instead of gold, and for Acceljinn, I made it look like it was made of flame. As I'm sure you could tell, we had a ton of fun making this Pokemon. There's a ton going on, but I think it all turned out amazing. But again, it's just so much. We have a convergent Shelmet who's a genie in a lamp who gets its lamp stolen by a convergent Carablast who uses it to make armor. And then now that the Shelmet is out of its lamp, it's now a genie. It's just so cool, but again, so complicated in the best way. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed getting two Pokemon for the price of one. But now let's get into the third Pokemon. And this one will be for Fire Eevee. I'm glad you liked all the designs in the last episode, but I hope you like your own Pokemon even more. So alright Eevee, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be an Ultra Beast. That is absolutely awesome. This is the first one of the whole series. Now, there's only ever been one Ultra Beast that has an evolution, but we'll still spin this wheel where you have a very small chance to get an evolution as well, but you didn't get any this time. Now, let's see what typing this Ultra Beast Pokemon's going to be. Your first type is going to be the Bug type. My favorite Ultra Beast is Bug type. Buzzwole's my favorite, so that's cool. And Bug Psychic type. Again, back-to-back typings. We had two Ghost types and now two Psychic types. That's very weird. And the last step before we see which Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and none this time. Get ready to meet a Pokemon that can't be defeated just once. Your Pokemon is Yubtotem, also known as Acceljinn. This Pokemon appears to be made out of three separate entities who all work in tandem. And this is evidenced by the fact that in battle, one or more of its pieces have been observed fainting while the rest of its body fights on. In fact, it even seems that the different sections have different personalities. As the middle section seems to be constantly aggressive, the bottom section seems very timid, and the top section is strategic and calculated and appears to be the leader of the trio. In terms of stats, Acceljinn is actually pretty well balanced across the board, which is a reference to the fact that each part of its body is good at a different thing. And for the shiny, I went with this green color just as a reference to insects, and I thought it looked nice. But that's gonna do it for today's episode, y'all. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe before you go, and if you want to watch more episodes just like this one, there's a bunch in this playlist. I'm gonna get right back to making some awesome custom Pokemon for you, so I'll see you in the next episode, but until then, peace.